Chucky's the TV ad.
Hey, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Bestiary Boys at the Adventure Archive. What are we talking about today, Joey?
Adult dragons.
Adult dragons, you say? That's a interesting specification.
Yeah, well, because Dragonbane, like D&D and other games, they go from hatchling to ancient. So at some point, we'll be also talking about hatchlings, young, and ancient dragons. But today, we're doing adult dragons.
Adult dragons. So if you guys forgot, we are going through the alphabetical order in the index versus front to back in the bestiary, just so we can mix it up a little bit. But anyway, go ahead. Why don't you kick it off? Let's talk about some adult dragons.
Well, there's a really neat quote, and actually every entry has them, and we're going to go over these quotes from here on out. We meant to do it for the goblin and just forgot, but the quote is, "Oh yes, there's a dragon in these parts. It never paid any attention to us until we started damming the creek. That made it furious. It smashed the dam and ate everyone working on it. Then things calmed down again." And that is a quote from Edward Torquil, priest and surgeon.
So, like Joey mentioned, these are great because instant NPC.
Instant.
It's world building. It's adding characters to your game. You can pluck up Mr. Airward. That's weird.
Oh yeah, Airward. Yeah,
it's Airward Torquil, priest and surgeon, and throw him into an encounter or populate an adventure with him. So we alas forgot to mention the one in goblins. Each and every one of these entries has these, and they're so great.
And then if we look at the official artwork for the adult dragon and Dragonbane,
oh yeah,
it is gorgeous
as usual. All of the art in this is great. It's a very classical looking setup where this dragon is kind of coiled itself around this ruined tower, and at the bottom it's just tons of gold, treasures, and of course a skull. And it has what I love the most is it has a diamond pinched between its fingertips, because we learn at the beginning of every section, just like in Nightkin, there is a first person account of it must be the recorder of these bestiaries, the one who's documenting all of this stuff. And it has a really great description and talks about specifically about adult dragons in this section, how they're obsessed with treasure. So it's almost like a raven, like they're attracted to these shiny things that they don't have any use for, but they make their nests out of.
And they are a little OCD about it too. Every piece of treasure they own is meticulously placed where it needs to be. And the chronicler's notes, they're not really sure if they do it because it really matters to them, or if they do it to make it easier to spot when things go missing. Kind of neat. Like, I like that they give you multiple reasons why a dragon maybe does this. Adult dragons, at this age in a dragon's life, this is when they start looking for their more permanent home, be it a cave. It has listed valleys or castle ruins. They kind of find what will be their nest and claim it, whether or not other creatures or intelligent kin in the area like it or not. They really don't care. It's going to be their home if they picked it. And it also talks about how this is the point in their life where they start really developing their need for order, and they're developing their aversion towards demons, because demons in Dragonbane are very chaotic. Dragons in Dragonbane are orderly.
It's a cool thing. I like that opposition. So right from the outset, we often think of in RPGs, I feel like the dragons they're always, a monster. They're always there to kill the players and stuff. Whereas here there's this ancient feud, I guess if you want to call it that, between dragons and demons, which play a very large role. Of course, it's called Dragonbane. And then if you guys are unaware, there's Sathmog the demon from the campaign The Secret of the Dragon Emperor, and I don't want to spoil anything, but his echoes are present in Path of Glory as well, so he's a prominent demonic figure. There's all this other stuff going on in the background that's like greater and older than the kin that are inhabiting the lands, and it provides this really cool backdrop.
And it makes sense because the Swedish name for Dragonbane, as many of the viewers probably know, it's Drakar och Demoner, which is just dragons and demons. Like the game is just called Dragons and Demons over there, and we call it Dragonbane here, which is interesting because Dragonbane, a bane is something bad towards something, so it's kind of like the name is called ill will towards dragons over here.
But, well, they could. I mean, you understand why they named it dragons and demons, right? They're like, we need a Dungeons and Dragons of our own.
Yeah.
But we can't call it Dungeons and Dragons. And then I'm sure Free League was thinking, we got to change the name. If we reboot this thing, we can't have it. It's going to sound so stupid right now.
Dragons and demons. For the random encounter they gave you, it's really not so much of an encounter as it is kind of like a preview of what the dragon is capable of. Basically, the player characters kind of come across the aftermath of an adult dragon having been in the area. It says a dragon has attacked and wiped out a large retinue escorting a covered wagon. And judging by the wagon and the many dead soldiers, it may have well been transporting something of great value. Perhaps the tax is collected by a bailiff. Everything but the covered wagon has been burnt to ashes, and the wagon's interior is completely empty. So they find, for this random encounter, just an empty wagon that had something valuable. And then I guess from there you can build on, well, let's track what did it, and then they'll find out it was a dragon.
It's a great hook. So it's like a prologue.
But moving on to the adventure seed, this one's great. It is literally The Hobbit, the film version of The Hobbit. During their adventures, player characters come across several clues to where they might find the lair and therefore the treasure of the dragon Scarg?
Scarg, I would say. So again, Scarg. Named creature already. This entire paragraph here, you'll find out when you get to the end, or everybody will find out when you get to the end, Joey, how much world building is jam-packed into this.
Just in the adventure seed, yeah. So in an abandoned dwarven mine high up in the mountains, deep underground, there are many ways in and out of the caves, some big enough for the dragon, but many that only allow smaller creatures to pass through. Scarge's nest is at the bottom of the mountain, spacious enough for her to stretch out fully with her wings spread wide. So you already know that once you encounter her, it's not going to be like a crammed up fight. Like, she's going to have mobility. She's going to tear you up if she gets the chance. But soon it becomes clear that the adventurers are not the only ones seeking Scarge's riches. There's a dwarven kingdom has sent a group to reclaim the mine and seize the dragon's treasure. An elven expedition is on its way to recover the crown of Eldarin, which is that a kingdom? Is that a queen? Is that a king? But it's a priceless artifact found at the top of the dragon's hoard. And the warlord Aknator has dispatched a small army to replenish his war chest. Who will ally with whom and who will ultimately betray everyone else. It's a really cool adventure seed. Easily, again, another whole campaign.
Oh, easy. Yeah, it would take a lot of work to expand this into something, but yeah, you have the foundation, you have the blueprint, you have names, you have items, you have the whole thing. So good stuff.
Yeah, but if you were to encounter a dragon, Jason, what are we looking at having to deal with?
All right, let's talk about by the numbers, the stat block here. We'll start at the beginning, this little block where we talk about the ferocity. So if you are new to Dragonbane, ferocity is how many attacks this creature gets per round, and it's 3. It's of course huge. Its movement's 24, which is, pretty damn good. Can move around quickly. Very high armor at 6, hit points 84. But the wings, the mighty wings of the dragon allow it to move freely. This thing's going to be dive bombing you, flying as long as, space permits, I should say. But my favorite thing about dragon or monsters in Dragonbane are the random attack tables. Because often we're playing games, we go, oh man, what would the character do? Or what would the creature do? I don't know which attack I should use. Well, Free League has solved it for you because you just roll a d6, and I'll briefly go over these. So there's a Dragon Roar, of course. And I guess one thing before I move on is that you'll notice that these are not all damage-based. Some of them are fear-based, and we discovered in our jaunt through the Misty Vale how effective fear can be in the game, especially when you're in dungeons. So the Dragon Roar, of course, they roar, they open their mouth, lets out a chilling roar, and everyone within 20 meters suffers a fear attack with a Bane on the will roll. And so everyone within 20 meters, that's another thing often that you're trying to figure out who does the creature attack? Oh, well, easy. It's like an AoE thing. Second, we have claw attack, and then the dragon is sweeping its claws at 2 opponents. Again, it's within 4 meters of each other who take 2d10 slashing damage. There's Dragon Wind, so this is the dragon is flapping its mighty wings to create a gale that affects everyone within 10 meters. This is a huge creature, so I'm not surprised that all of these are area of effect. And any loose objects and creatures up to human size in the whirlwind are hurled 2d6 meters. So check this out. Imagine you have an epic battle on the top of a ruined fort or a mountaintop. or there's
Right.
sheer cliffs, there's pits. I mean, this could be a really cool epic fight. And then there's, of course, Tail Strike. The dragon sweeps its spiked tail at its victims. And then again, it's an AoE thing, 2d8 bludgeoning damage or knockdown. Then the bite, and that's 4d10 slashing damage.
Damn.
And that is, I know, it's crazy. And it just says bites a victim here. So this is another one where you got to choose. And then finally, of course, what would a dragon be without breathing fire? So we have the fire breath. The dragon towers over the player characters in all its splendor before unleashing a devastating storm of fire from its mouth. So this is a cone that's 10 meters long, and the width at any given point equals to a distance from the dragon's mouth. And anyone hit by the flame suffers 3d10 fire damage, and of course, armor has no effect. So really cool random attack table. We'll see some of these in the other dragons as well, and how they scale up. I think that's what's going to be cool about covering all these dragons, is that we'll see from a hatchling all the way to an ancient dragon, how these attacks change, how their behavior changes, how creature in general evolves over time.
That's a deadly creature, though, because I mean, if you're not super familiar in Dragonbane, unless you take a heroic ability, I think it's called Robust, that increases your hit points. Whatever you start with, that's what you've got. Yep. And it's very often not much more than somewhere between like 10 to 15 hit points is about it.
That's what I love about the game. Yeah, that's what I love about the game is it's not level based, it's skill based. And so you improve, you get better at things, and it only makes sense that you don't just keep getting more hit points, right? Why would you keep being more impervious to damage? It doesn't make any sense. So leveling systems, I've never been a huge fan of them. I love skill-based ones. So yeah, deadly. I mean, imagine suffering 3d10 fire damage and you only have 12 hit points. Good luck with that.
I would just hope you rolled all ones. Only 3 damage.
So should we move on to At Your Table, where we discuss how to potentially run dragons?
Yeah, I'll start with that. So in Dragonbane, I am running a little homebrew game at my local game store, and I have a dragon in it. And dragons in Dragonbane are, from what I understood, reading through this and stuff, the dragon in my campaign, it's very dismissive, like of what they deem less intelligent creatures or less important creatures. When I roleplay the dragon, it doesn't really care for humans. It doesn't care for halflings. It shows a little more respect towards elves because they're so long-lived and elegant creatures. But everyone else, it's not vicious towards those kin, but it's not very respectful, and you're just an ant. So they haven't really done much with the dragon yet, but as they go further into the campaign, it will be potentially important to them. That's up to them that the dragon is important. And if they do, then it's going to send them on various tasks to increase its treasure hoard to give favors in return. If you're going to run a dragon in Dragonbane, make sure that if it's going to be an adversary, you do it when they've had some heroic abilities under their belt, or they really just won't stand a chance, like whatsoever, after looking at the numbers. But what about you? How do you feel?
I've never actually run a dragon in all the years I've run games. I'm trying to think if I've encountered a dragon in a game I played, because I guess for me, I've always viewed dragons as very rare, majestic, ancient creatures that you're going to encounter hardly ever. As we know, in most games we run, the players, you rarely make it to like level 20 or high level if we're talking about Dungeons and Dragons. And so I never felt people were powerful enough to encounter dragons. But again, this is my old mindset. So when I was younger, the way that the monsters were often portrayed in these books is that that's what they are. They're monsters, right? Whereas I feel like in modern times, and maybe it's just me that I missed a lot of stuff as a kid, but especially in Dragonbane, is that they're not just things to attack. Like Joey's using them as a quest giver, basically, to amass its fortune. So I think that's a great way of looking at it. It's given me a great perspective just to kind of view dragons as not just, oh, this is the big bad, right? This is the big beastie you got to fight at the end of the dungeon. It's just like, no, they're just another thing in the world that are ancient, mysterious, intelligent. And I forgot to mention more in depth, but I really encourage everybody to read the dragons section. There's a paragraph at the very beginning of each one of these sections in the bestiary where it kind of gives an overview. It's as if this archivist is, he's chronicling, or a chronicler is chronicling all of these details about the dragons, like their behaviors. And it's so good because it talks about in here that sometimes they play with things like a cat would play with a mouse. So
Oh.
that immediately brought to mind what you're talking about, Joey, is you're saying this dragon is giving these quests to gain its hordes. Like, I don't know, my mind immediately goes to, it's just toying with them, using them, and at the end it's just going to eat them and betray them, because dragons spoilers. Well, hope not. But yeah, dragons, they the way they're depicted in this game anyway, yeah, they're greater than the normal kin. At least that's what this guy thinks who's writing this. And again, you have a great POV, right? This is just his POV. So this doesn't necessarily have to be guiding the way you think about dragons in this game or the way the players or the world does, but it's great story fodder for creating those encounters of betrayal, because there's some great little philosophical musings in this as well, where it says, the counter question then becomes, to what extent the mouse understands the motives of the cat? And other reservation comes to mind, to what extent do humans, elves, and halflings show mercy and compassion toward the creatures they dominate? So this guy's writing this description of these characters and like pondering, these philosophical ideas about how predator views the prey and so on. So yeah, it's really good observation. I highly encourage you guys to check out the opening section to every single creature.
Yeah, the creature type. Yeah, the creature type.
Creature type, yeah.
For a showcase of artwork, we got 4 entries this time.
4 entries. So thank you guys. 4. Yeah, it's amazing.
2 returning people. 2 new ones.
2 new ones.
The first piece we're looking at is by someone who's been watching the show almost as long as I have, really. Bunny Cat Likes. They painted. It was painted on canvas. It's a dragon coming out of its cave.
Painted on canvas. Piece of art?
Yeah.
Crazy. That's some serious effort for this little show we got going on here.
Yeah, I like how it looks like it's coming out of the cave and looks like it either is gonna maybe be playful or maybe it's gonna kill you.
That's what I was gonna say. It has this great mix of, I don't know, this thing friendly. It's almost kind of approaching like a friendly dog.
Yeah.
But then you're thinking, well, it's a dragon, so I probably should be careful.
Cautious, be wary. Cautious, yeah. So thanks, Bunny Cat Likes, for submitting that piece.
You. It's awesome.
It's wonderful. I love the textures and the evergreens, and that's cool. All right, next piece is from Ren Harris, who gave us the cute goblin last time. Now we have a cute dragon, very much clearly in the style of My Little Pony. Which, if you have not seen our My Little Pony Merkborg one shot, check it out. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, when they submitted it, my first thought was, for My Little Pony, that is an adult dragon. At first glance, I would have been like, that looks like a teenage dragon, like maybe a young one, but nope, that's an adult dragon MLP. So if there's any MLP fans out there, here's a cool dragon for you.
Yeah, I love the line work, super clean. I love the varied styles we're getting. We're getting paint on canvas. We're getting a clean, almost like vector-like illustration, and we get some other digital art. Yeah, it's great.
And keep in mind, like, let this be proof. Like, yes, it's the Dragonbane Bestiary, but don't feel like you need to make artwork or that looks or imitates Dragonbane style. We'd love to see all kinds of different styles of artwork. Moving on, we've got a piece from Blue Fox, and this, what'd you call it? The
yoked dragon?
The yoked dragon. That's right.
Look at that. Look at that arm. Look at that right arm right there. You can't quite see the left one, but that's got some serious shoulder striations right there. The deltoids are split perfectly. It's got an amazing bicep. So this thing's
he didn't skip arm day.
Didn't skip arm day, exactly.
Beautifully colored. Looks like with marker. Probably sketched first, then inked, and then markered.
I love the style. Great use of color and light, and this one's slumbering though.
Another thing that I kind of like about this dragon, this piece of artwork, is in the descriptor of adult dragons and Dragonbane, like they're just starting out and they're like trying to create their dragon hoard, like their treasure hoard. So this guy clearly he found where he wants to station, but he hasn't gotten any treasure yet, so he's just sleeping on the bare ground.
Good point.
It's kind of just makes me think of that. But now for the final piece of artwork, Jason, I'll let you
cover your eyes, kids. Cover your eyes, kids. So yeah, this piece of artwork is done by Jessica. So Jess, she plays with us every week. She's played with us ever since we started. From Cairn, and she's Sariel in the Dragonbane campaign. Here you go. Here's an adult dragon. Emphasis on the adult part, which I think I'm probably going to have to pixelate some of this stuff. I don't know what counts as art and what counts as other things here on YouTube, but I think you get the idea. We have it looks like, I can't tell if it's pen or pencil. It's a very shapely adult dragon, bare-chested. And her knees are, like pointed toward each other. I don't know if she's covering up her goods down there or if that's just...
Seems like it.
Yeah, or if that's just hand placement. She's breathing a little
some
fire.
modesty.
She's got some hearts floating around. Yeah, what a
She
lovely...
got her lashes done.
Yeah, lashes done. Little tiny stubby horns. But and also this entire thing is bathed in red light appropriately.
Right.
So yeah.
The red light district dragon right here.
Red light district dragon, exactly. So thank you, Jess, out there for submitting this thing. It really put the adult in adult dragons. Funny thing is, I thought at the very end of the episode, or what I'm going to do is just kind of pixelate what the next monster is going to be, just so people don't know what the artwork is right away. And then when I did it, I'm like, oh man, that kind of looks like something else. And then of course, here we are. Here we are with more pixelations. Hold on, we got one more entry. This is from our own Ducky, who's playing Ash right now in Cairn. He played both Louis and Gideon in Dragonbane. This one arrived right after we recorded the episode, but I wanted to edit this in. Got a very cool pen and ink and full color illustration here. I'm getting some Godzilla vibes. Very cool work, man. Thanks for sending it in. That brings us to the end of all of the viewer showcase. And just as a reminder, I'll put some text down here, but email us at archivistofadventure@gmail.com, or you can join our Discord server and DM me or Joey there. The link's down there. It's completely free to join. And it doesn't have to be art. It can be encounters. It can be, like I think you said last time, a photo of a miniature you're working on. Anything at all related to whatever the next monster is, which is going to be what?
It's going to be the giant amoeba.
Giant amoeba. I'm excited for this one.
Yeah,
because it's kind of like the I guess gelatinous cube of Dragonbane in a way.
Yeah, pretty much.
But I won't give too much more away. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm excited for that one because there's just so much you can do with a giant slime creature. And the Blob, the original Blob film and the 80s remake are two of my favorite horror films. So I'm excited to talk about the giant amoeba, the giant single cell organism.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. We're getting out of the traditional monsters and getting into more of the weird stuff.
Yeah.
So I guess that concludes Adult Dragons. Is there anything else you wanted to mention before we call this one?
No. Good.
Okay, cool. Don't forget, submit your artwork and any kind of content relating to giant amoebas. And I know that might be a weird thing to figure out what it is. I'm sure Google can help you out. Email us, archivistofadventure@gmail.com, or join the Discord server. DM us. Thanks for talking to me today, Joey, through Adult Dragons. Looking forward to next week.
Very much.
Cool. All right. Thanks for hanging out with us, guys, and we'll see you in the next one.